welcome to the GSL Up and Down matches. I am Wolf, and with me is Caldor, and we have a sick lineup of players today.
Exactly. Today we have again a lot of Terran players, but also some good Zergs and Protoss. 5 players in total. Yesterday we had a pretty long day with 6 participants in Group B. Today we have Group C with jjakji, Vines. Starting to call him Vines as well. I don't know.
I actually, when you said that, I didn't even think of it. I just thought, oh yeah, that's his ID. He's pretty much his ID to me, man.
Vines, Vines, however you want to pronounce him. We have a live Ryang, jjakji, and a Polt fighting today, and our opening match is going to be a Terran versus Terran, and it's a pretty sick one.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Terran versus Terran today, in fact, with this many Terrans in our group. But jjakji versus Polt, our first match. Oh, well, look at that. We got Seeker, Hearts, TL, and he's got our signatures there, and she'll get out. That's Seeker, by the way, does a lot of live report for the GSL. He decided to pop in there for a second. But yeah, thanks to all the work of all the people on Team Liquid to do the live report threads. I've heard that Seeker actually himself, since he's been in Korea and been traveling a lot, he hasn't been able to do it. But like, I do want to let you guys know that everyone does appreciate that you guys have organized live report threads. Like, if I'm not able to watch the GSL live, or if I'm traveling or something and I want to read up on what's happening, that's a great place to do it. Opta
kind of took over, and also Christopher AG. That's the 2 guys who kind of help Seeker out right now, as he's not able to get the live reports up. But yeah, you're actually right. There are so many people in the community who just help out with all these things, and the live report threads on Team Liquid have been getting kind of crazy. I mean, they really put a lot of work and effort in there. So thanks again, guys.
Yeah. So jjakji versus Polt, our opening match.
Exactly.
It's going to be an awesome one. It is going to be on Atlantis Space Bear, a huge map. I mean, this map is so big, and that means that I think if jjakji goes mech against Polt, if he can actually play basically as well as jjakji has shown in the past, I think he might be able to win here. Polt has shown great TVT, but he almost always goes Marine Tank.
Yeah.
I mean, I have hardly ever seen him not go Marine Tank. If he does, he goes pure Bio. He will never, ever, ever mech. I've never seen him mech in this matchup, not even once. So
before we start with today's group, we are having a quick look at yesterday's results. So here was yesterday's group: the Puzzle, Bomber, Curious, Maru, Finn, and
pretty dominant group, you know. Curious and Maru being the very clear favorites in the group, and in general, we saw you know, some play from Alive and Finn and Bomber that was not quite what we expected. They seemed a little bit weaker than probably most people would have expected, I think.
Especially Curious was able to really, well, he played so well. He was in great shape yesterday, so he takes the lead. And now we have a quick look at today's players. Here they are: jjakji, Fennis, Hosa, Polt for TSL, Xenex with Surshin, aka Live. We have Mines, who was recently picked up by Empire after OGS disbanded. And of course, Ryang for Team Slayers.
Yep, and I was actually a little bit late today. What I went to do was, this happens to me very occasionally, where I'm in a rush to get out of my house, but I'm leaving on time, but I'm in a rush to leave on time, okay? Then I walk all the way to this restaurant that I eat at called Subway Sandwiches. Then I buy the sub, okay? I go to buy it, and then suddenly I realize I don't have my wallet. So I have to walk all the way back to my house, then walk all the way back to Subway and buy the food, and then I'm like, uh-oh, I'm a little bit late. You know who else was late? Was Lion, though, man. He and I both ran together down the street towards the studio to get our makeup on in time.
Polt is tired.
He is tired, man.
He just came back.
So did I. But the thing is, like, I came home last night, I cast GSL, and then I went home and went to sleep. Polt probably came back last night.
And played another online tournament.
Yeah. Played another online tournament, practiced all night, and then practiced all morning, so it's going to be pretty tough for him compared to jjakji as far as rest goes.
jjakji is well rested, and we are heading into our first game, Terran versus Terran on Atlantis Space Bear. It's the GSL Up and Downs. Caldor and Wolf. To the top of the map in the orange, we have currently our NS Hosa player. This is
NS Hosa jjakji.
jjakji, a pretty strong Terran player. We've seen him in the past with amazing results. He's a former champion, was able to defeat Lenok 2 seasons ago. And well, the last match that he actually played in the GSL, he lost to a Zerg player. He lost to Symbol on exactly this map. Symbol just so strong lately. The guy is actually going crazy. He played really impressive, especially at, well, he did really well at MLG too, didn't he?
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah, but especially at, for example, Iron Squid, he was able to take the 2nd place.
He took 2nd place at MLG as well, and Alicia was joking. Oh, I thought we did this
GSL
already, but here's
Polt.
TSL Polt, his teammate. Well, he was joking, calling him the next Kong after Marine King, and he didn't like that very much, but he's only gotten 2 second places so far. I guess he could potentially get second place in Code S this season as well, which would continue that on. We are going to see Polt go Command Center first here, dropping it down onto the low ground.
And Polt, well, the most popular Terran vs. Terran that he played recently was a DreamHack, where he played against Thorzane in the final.
Yeah, and he lost.
Exactly. He also lost to Ganji in the GSL Season Code A. That was his last GSL match that he played. So his Terran versus Terran, I don't want to call it shaky, but if he has a weak matchup, it's probably the Terran versus Terran.
You're
he has
so right.
Great record against Protoss. He has an awesome record against Zerg as well. But in the TVT, he is not as stable as in the other 2 matchups.
One thing to note here is that jjakji has gone for a 1-Rax expand, and versus a Command Center first, the Command Center first player always gets a huge lead because there's hardly any way to pressure with a 1-Rax expand versus Command Center first.
Especially not on this map.
Yeah, especially not on this map. I mean, you get a huge lead from this. And from now, jjakji's like looking at this, he's like, should I bunker? No, I can't do that. I'm just going to poke at his SCV. That's all I can really hope for here. Polt going up to 2 barracks, as is kind of his style. Doesn't really double gas as quickly as other players after going Command Center first. We're going to see jjakji, in fact, double gas very soon in his main base. But since he's seen Command Center first, he may actually try to do something different, like go for a fast 3rd Command Center instead. We'll see what his plan is.
Strategies like this on this map are not all that uncommon. As soon as you realize that your opponent is a little bit ahead of you, you just try to double expand and try to get a bit of greedy.
I think he's going to do it even on the low ground, man. Look at this. Making a Command Center down there right away. I really like that. I mean, that's one thing you could do to kind of change things up. You know what, Polt is double gassing.
Yeah, he's going for the double gas immediately. He has currently 2 barracks, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So he will be able to get a few Marines out, but trying to get his tech in there as fast as possible. And jjakji, on the other hand, did not start a refinery just yet. So Polt, when it comes down to the tech, is way ahead of his opponent.
Polt, you know, he has that tech advantage. He's going to have a little bit of a lack of economy for a brief period of time. Depends on what he wants to do next. jjakji smartly has the watchtower with the earlier barracks he had. He knows he can control that. He also has an SCV patrolling on the right side, so that nothing can really escape him. So he has a lot of map vision right now, which is going to make him feel comfortable. He's going up to 3 barracks here as he double gasses because he has to be a little bit safer. He wants to get that stim out ASAP. It's the first thing he's going to get with the double gasses he's now taking. So his tech is going to be very much so delayed compared to Polt.
Polt is already starting his factory. It's halfway done as jjakji finishes his 2 refineries and is now starting to mine gas as well. So Polt will definitely have units out a lot faster than his opponent. Is already adding the first add-ons to his barracks and factory. And yeah, this is going to be well, it's going to be interesting what exactly Polt is up to. In Terran vs. Terran, sometimes we even see a little bit of a delayed Banshee, but here we can expect Polt go for the siege tanks. This is kind of the build that he usually uses, as Wolf pointed out earlier. He's not really the type to go for mech.
No, he really isn't. Like, it's not his style. He said so many times in interviews that he used to say that he thought that it was because Bio was easier. Now he thinks, well, I think it's so good. And he said also, in this most recent interview that I saw, he said, I don't know, I just feel more comfortable, you know, and that's, I think, something that a playstyle really means. Like, you feel more comfortable doing this style over another. For example, MST's playstyle is to be aggressive usually. He doesn't feel as comfortable taking a 3rd base, and it's evident in his play.
At this point, the economy for jjakji starts to kick in. We have him with 3 command centers, so he can build 3 SCVs at a time. Also has this extra mule, a little bit of an advantage over Polt. And jjakji is going for double engineering base, so he will start his double upgrades very fast. Polt with another command center now, and he just completed his starport, so he can actually just try to get the first medivacs out here.
Yeah, he's not going for medivacs, interestingly enough, at least not right away. He's going for siege tanks first, setting his gas on that. That was a little bit surprising for me, especially given his style. Usually he's the one who goes for reactor on the medevac, gets double medevacs out early, but he's going for 1 siege tank and a medevac, skipping siege mode a little bit here, which I do like, because you do need to build that medevac count up as early as possible. So if your opponent goes for an earlier timing attack, especially with the upgrades that we see coming out for jjakji, it can be quite scary to deal with without medevacs.
The upgrades is something that Polt wants to add to. He's going immediately for the engineering bay, for the double E-bay, but jjakji is already ahead. He will have, well, he basically will have completed the +1 attack upgrade as soon as Polt starts his first set of upgrades. So Polt is a little bit behind in upgrades, but he is a lot faster when it comes down to the siege tank tech.
Yeah, I'm wondering what this game is kind of playing out a little bit weirdly because Polt's now taking a third base that I think he thinks is like, oh, I'm taking a pretty quick third. And as far as I know, he's not seeing his opponent's third. No, he has no idea. So both players are kind of doing similar things, thinking their opponents are doing other things, but jjakji smartly has been able to scout Polt's command center. So now he's going to feel like, all right, now all I have to do is make sure I hold this base, and finally Polt will get a glimpse of what's going on over here. This is going to be the moment where battles start to happen, and how they occur is going to be the most important. Yep, here we go.
In the main base, Polt is trying to get aggressive here, and the army of jjakji is out of position, and a ton of these SCVs are actually just dying. He killed like 11 of them. 11 of them, and wow, he moves in with the SCVs once again, and he is just losing way too many here.
Yeah, he's losing so many here. This is really going to even out the SCV deficit from earlier, and now he's cleaned up the Marines. He's going to kill even more SCVs.
Wow.
SCVs building depots going down here as well. jjakji losing 22 SCVs to 1 Marine drop. Polt taking a huge lead.
That's insane. He's now down to 33 SCVs against 57.
And he doesn't even have his third base saturated, whereas Polt has his third base up and running. He's got the gases going up there as well right now. He's making it into a planetary after taking that lead. And you know, when you have a lead like that, I don't blame you. Take a planetary because your opponent's going to have to get aggressive, and you already have the economic lead to make up for the fact that you're not going to have triple mules.
You are so right. Polt now with a huge advantage in this game. jjakji was just completely out of position with his Marines. He tried to kill the Marine that was blocking his third base, and Polt used exactly this timing in order to drop in his opponent's main, and then suddenly all these workers were just helpless, defenseless, and jjakji even used them in order to defend, so he lost nearly his entire economy, half of it. And here comes the double drop for jjakji now, who is desperate to do some damage.
Polt has not seen this, by the way, even though he had a depot going up near there. He's going to get his first glimpse right now.
And he's moving down the ramp immediately with his Marines.
Great
he can
reaction
actually catch
time.
all of them. And he's going in here, but the upgrade advantage for jjakji.
Yep.
And he uses it.
Just finished up though for Polt. Barely in time, but jjakji, he knows there are too many units. He saw the planetary as well. He's going to have to get back. Polt with a huge lead right now. He's only up 8 supply. His economy is almost 20 SCVs ahead. He's behind in upgrades, but he's got the better siege tank count.
Polt has to be careful though. He does not have combat shield yet, or he did not in the last fight. So now he's completed
Just finished it, yeah.
Exactly. So that's one of the reasons why he pulled back and did not really commit to this battle. It was not only about the 1-1 advantage that jjakji had, but also the combat shield that played a huge role here.
Look at Polt's economy right now. He's getting basically the same upgrades, so he's making 11 Marines at a time. But one thing that jjakji is doing right now is making 2 tanks at a time. That's something that Polt just hardly ever does in his playstyle. He's got the second factory just very late, you know. That's why he's going to, jjakji will be able to, for a little bit, close the distance in siege tank count. But right now the tank count is 5-1, and jjakji still has the better Marine count at 56-39. So you can kind of see how, like, both of those gaps are closing with Polt having the better Marine production and jjakji having the better siege tank production. So we're still a fairly even game here, but Polt, look at the supply, 162 to 148, just simply because of that earlier drop.
He still has an advantage like 15 to 20 SCVs over his opponent. jjakji has the worst economy, and Polt therefore a better production than his opponent. And he is going for a ton of medivacs here, more and more siege tanks trying to get this composition, even the 2 sensor towers. And the positioning of the sensor towers is actually awesome. He will be able to see everything, drop play, run bys, nothing is a secret to him anymore. If jjakji tries to be aggressive here, he will have to realize that Polt is going to know about it.
And Polt has finished his supply tree, is up at 200, so now he has no longer to worry about supply blocking. He's just actually pouring all of his minerals into units at this point. He's moving out on the map as well. The army supply 112 to 107, very similar. And right now, jjakji has the upgrade advantage. He may try to use that. He's moving in from the side. Polt, though, is sieged up. He cannot fight, not even with the upgrade advantage, with that many siege tanks in a row.
So important for jjakji to scan ahead here, and he does it. Therefore, he is not running into the sieged up tanks, which is very important. And he just makes sure that Polt is a little bit delayed here, but Polt will slowly but steadily try to get into position at the third base. Is sending a small task force over, and the siege tank is just sieging up just in time, so Polt is not able to commit to this harassment of the third base.
This is just such a positional game, Kaldor. You know, we've got these players basically not fighting because they're too afraid, just very defensively posturing.
But I think he's moving in right now.
He may, in fact, try to fight here, but he's going to get flanked. Polt now cut off with no retreat.
We also had a few Marines from jjakji being a little bit overzealous here, over-eager, trying to get in here, but not doing anything. In
Polt's
fact,
going
dying.
in.
He's going in, and there are only 2 siege tanks at the same time. Is jjakji committing to this attack?
Oh,
it doesn't look
jjakji's
like
messing
it.
this up, man. He is actually losing on both fronts. He decided not to commit. This is a great way for Polt to engage. Now he's forced the lift. He's going to kill so many SCVs. Polt taking a huge loot. jjakji with his head in the clouds here, not
dropping
knowing what to
onto
do.
the siege tanks, brilliant. He's using the dropships now, dropping onto the siege tank, but a small force of Marines is still in position. And Polt is trying to defend his tanks as jjakji is moving in with everything he has. Clears the tanks of Polt, and now the TSL player retreating with his medivacs. He's still in a huge lead in supply, 170 against 126, and Polt is just in such a great position here.
Yeah, he is. He's going to lose a lot of medivacs here, though. Does get out with one of them. The second one may survive as well. It does, but you're so right. He takes a huge lead here. jjakji hesitated so much in that fight. He should have gone in earlier if he was going to go in. Polt, though, with a great decision-making, looking, scanning ahead, saying, all right, the north is where I can go. You have very few siege tanks there. I break through the north, take out your tanks, pull back, and then I have enough to defend if you run in. If jjakji had run in right when Polt went to the north, maybe they would have traded evenly, but he hesitated, and Polt took a huge lead as a result.
Polt already had the better economy, and he was still on. He was on nearly 2,500 minerals when this fight was over. He can just max out once again. He has a 4th base. He's even building the 5th now. And with all these medivacs, with the Marines, the +3/+3 upgrades nearly done, +2 for the tanks, he is in an amazing position. jjakji is forced to, well, it's really hard for him. He kind of has to do some damage to the economy of his opponent, but Polt is just getting more aggressive, and it looks like jjakji is trying to go for a base trade. That's something that he can't win, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be able to win against this one, especially with Polt having these planetaries and siege tanks in position. It's going to be very difficult for him to rush down through here. I think this is what we're going to have, though, and I would never want to base trade against Polt, a one-time brother of Marine King, and he's already... Polt's in a defensive position where, while he's destroying his opponent's production facilities, jjakji has already lost this game, in my opinion, Kaldor.
Polt is in jjakji's base, doing damage, attacking the factories, making sure that there are no siege tanks.
Look at this possession for Polt.
And now we have jjakji moving in here, trying to take down the planetary. All the SCVs repairing, though. And, oh my god, Polt holds.
Yep, he holds, and he is destroying jjakji right now. A desperate attempt for jjakji. GG, but a smart one. I mean, in that position, your opponent's already going towards your base. You can't get home to defend. You're never going to get a good trade. Polt taking several early leads there. jjakji playing a good game, though. Just was not good enough to play against Polt. When you go toe-to-toe against Polt, Marine tank versus Marine tank, he'll beat you almost every time.
jjakji is a little bit disappointed here, and I have to say that what basically broke him was this drop.
Yep.
The drop was where it all started. He lost way too many SCVs. If you lose 5 or 6, that's something that you can come back to, especially with the 3rd mule. But as soon as you lose 22 and then suddenly so far behind, there's basically no coming back if your opponent does a scrub. And guess what? Polt didn't. He played it very well.
Yeah.
He knew he had the advantage.
It was a tough thing for jjakji to deal with. You know, he wasn't prepared for the drop, but I mean, everything else he did after that was fine. It just was, he was like playing without one finger or something, and he just had like one small handicap. And like you said, Polt didn't really make any mistakes.
Yep, so very well played by the TSL player. jjakji with a little bit of an unfortunate loss. I think this game might have turned out a little bit different if not for this drop. But it was great done. It was really well done by Polt. He knew that his opponent had all his Marines at the bottom because he saw it with the one Marine that he positioned at the 3rd base that was basically he wanted to scout. He wanted to scout, okay, is there going to be a 3rd base? And jjakji moved down there with his entire army, something that he should not have done. And Polt used this timing, dropped in the main base, and from this time on, it was just an uphill battle for jjakji.
Yeah. jjakji, you know, he had a great map awareness as well. I liked how he, you know, even though he scouted his opponent, went for fast command center, he took a risk in some ways, but it was kind of the right choice to make, I feel, on this map to take a fast 3rd base. Yeah. He also used his Marines to control the watchtower. He had his units positioned all over the map to spot Polt moving up, but the map is so big, he just couldn't find that drop. You know, if he had seen the drop, if he had one missile turret in place, he might have been able to slow it down. But I mean, at a map of this size, and even the main base is so big, you can't make missile turrets really. You just have to kind of hope that your opponent doesn't drop, or you have to hope that your units are close enough. It was a very bad storm of unfortunate things that happened to him.
And Polt could do this because he started with his tech so early. We talked a bit about it when the game actually started. Polt only with 2 barracks, immediately taking double gas. jjakji's gas was quite delayed. He just took the first refinery when Polt was already starting to build his factory. So Polt Polt with a very early medevac, and he put it to some use. It was very well done, and therefore he has already a nice head start into the group. 1 win for Polt, and jjakji is down a map. And we are heading into our first, let me see, our first Zerg versus Protoss. The only Zerg versus Protoss.
It's going to be Line against Vines. This is going to be really, really exciting to see. Our only Zerg versus Protoss as well. So if you were looking forward to that matchup, make sure you don't go anywhere because it's the only one you're going to get to see today. The map is going to be, unfortunately for Line, Entombed Valley.
Indeed.
Not going to be an easy one for him. I think we're probably going to see a longer game on this map. You know, 2-base Protoss timing pushes are pretty strong here, but the late game Protoss is really what Zerg struggle to deal with. You see a lot of massing up the Spine Crawlers, the Broodlords trying to get in position. That one base, you know, that's like in the south or the north, that's kind of in the middle, that seems to be like the moment, that's like the place of contest on this map. That's always where the Broodlords are trying to siege up the motherships, trying to get the Vortex. That's usually how this map kind of plays out.
It's actually kind of funny, and I expect exactly the same thing, that we are going to see a pretty long game on this map. As a Zerg, it's very important as soon as you take a 4th or a 5th, even the 6th base, that you build some Spine and Spore Crawlers to defend. Most Protoss players these days, if we really end up with this late game, are going to get a War Prism, try to get some DTs in there. And we'll see what Suoshin is going to do to fight here against Vines, Protoss player for Team Empire.
Yep. The nice shirt, by the way. I'm not sure if that's an Empire shirt or not, but man, that is a nice shirt. I think that may be the nicest shirt I've ever seen anyone wear into the GSL booth.
They should have given him a GSL hoodie.
Yeah, they should. Well, maybe, but I don't know, man. He looks good. I gotta say,
maybe he has a date later.
Maybe, actually, maybe. I know how that is. And if I were a pro gamer and I had a date later, I'd tell my sponsors, listen, okay.
I know you're important, but there's this girl, and
I wouldn't wear that shirt on a date, though. I don't know. That's just not my style. That's like the kind of shirt I would wear to meet my date's parents, maybe? All right, we're going to start our first and only Zerg versus Terran here at the GSL up and down matches with Kaldor and Wolf.